Come home and had a little lump in my groin. I had the biopsy and they told me it was cancer, and then obviously done a few more scans and realised I had a bit more than one little lump in my groin. And I had a big sarcoma growing up through my spine which cracked my pelvis in two. They told me I had 6 weeks to live if I didn't have surgery to have it removed, but the chances of surviving and having my pelvis rebuilt were about 5%.
Watch guys, I'm just finalising the edits on my latest video and I thought I'd give a bit of an introduction to it. So several years ago I was looking through Facebook and I was on a fishing group page and I noticed some fellow had posted that he'd been diagnosed with cancer, but he was battling with it and he's going to fight it all the way. So I gave the post a thumbs up and I've made an encouraging comment, and I added Russell to my friends list on Facebook. So over the years, Russell's posted about his battle and I've always given nice comments and I've encouraged him as much as I can. And he's liked some of my posts and we've commented on each other's pictures, etc. Facebook friends, as it were. That's how it was going. And then a few weeks ago, my phone pinged. And it was a message from Russell on the Facebook Messenger, which was unusual because we've never actually communicated. It's all been through comments, etc. So I was a bit intrigued as to what this message was about. So the message went along the lines of, "Hi Steve, just wondering if you fancy doing a bit of a social on the island's fishery with me. I'm currently under hospice care and I'd like to get a little film done if possible. Don't worry if you don't fancy doing the filming, let's just go fishing and enjoy ourselves anyway." Well, what do you say to that? I'm sure all our lives have been affected by cancer in one way or another, and the carp world was rocked recently by the death of Ian McMillan. Well, here's Russell's story. Okay, so cheers for the tea, Russell.
You're welcome.
And well, let's start at the beginning and introduce you to everybody who's watching. Your name?
My name's Russell Ashford.
Yeah, and your age?
50 years old, which is a miracle, as you'll find out shortly.
Yeah, and you're married?
Yep, to Karen.
And kids?
I've got 2 kids, Kieran and Tilly, 13 and 11, and I've got 3 stepkids, Tina, Nath and Jamie.
Cool. Excellent, so pretty full family then?
Yep.
Yeah.
Good family life, we all get on, and that's
Good
what
stuff.
It's about, isn't it?
Yeah.
Family's precious.
Yeah.
Especially with the time everyone's just been through.
And so you're not working now, we'll get to that in a minute, but what was your occupation?
I was a roofer and also done fiberglass, but very specialised GRP, which is glass reinforced plastic architecture, as in doing moss and Sikh temples and
So very specialist niche sort of work.
very, yeah. It's all one-off, big projects that take years. I've spent most of my life working away all the time all over the country.
So you're a fit, strapping fella?
I was, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was invincible till 45.
So you say you're 50 years old, and that's pretty much a miracle at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because tell everyone watching what happened to you about 5 years ago.
I was away in France with Karen, with my mate's lake, doing what we do, little holiday, working holiday, helping my mate sort of swims out and getting ready for the next season, obviously having a bit of fishing and a bit of mucking about, and I spent a lot of time working. In the last 3 days, I'd spent strimming with a big petrol strimmer, and obviously it was really hard work, and the brambles were all like tree trunks. But when I came out, I had a little lump in my groin, which I thought was a hernia. I thought that'd be right, so I just ignored it for a while.
Been doing a bit of heavy work, so you just thought that was what it was.
Yeah.
So that was, you noticed that when you come back from France, and then what happened?
Done the typical bloke thing, just ignored it and went back to work and thought, it'd be all right, be all right. Karen kept nagging me about maybe 3 months later, which is not clever when I look back. I went to the doctors and he instantly sent me to the hospital for a biopsy. I had the biopsy and they told me it was cancer, and then obviously done a few more scans and realised I had a bit more than one little lump in my groin.
Right.
And I had a big sarcoma growing up through my spine, which cracked my pelvis in two, which at that point they told me I had 6 weeks to live if I didn't have surgery to have it removed. But the chances of surviving and having my pelvis rebuilt were about 5%.
5% chance of 6 weeks to live.
Yeah.
I think I know what most people would choose, but it's a tough decision, mate.
I got great faith in human spirit, and for some reason I thought, well, I've got to try carry on living for my wife and kids. So
Russell, part of your treatment, have you had chemotherapy or radiotherapy?
I've had 2 lots of radiotherapy, and that was the first time was to shrink the tumour here, which they cut out and removed. And that again, anyone who has to go through severe radiotherapy, it starts off fine. You think, this is all right, nothing's happening. 3 to 4 weeks into it, your skin is like someone's put a blowtorch on it. It absolutely destroys, well, it's got to destroy the cancer, but it destroys everything in front of it as well. They can't odds that. So it comes with a lot of pain and suffering, and especially where it is. There's, women that have had their breasts removed, or, there's certain areas that are more tender than others. Mm-hmm. And the second time I had it was in my back. Wasn't too bad. It didn't actually burn my skin, but it done a lot more damage inside. So it's a different sort of feeling. And to have the surgery, I had to have severe chemotherapy, which normally started off with a drip at home, which is quite normal. But it made me so ill. I spent 5 months in, and I didn't get to the last period because it gave me temporary brain damage, and I was so ill they thought I was going to die. I couldn't speak. Didn't know who anyone was.
So 5 months on basically chemotherapy.
Yep, and the 5th one completely wiped me out. Couldn't speak, couldn't move, couldn't do anything. So I spent quite a while in the chemotherapy unit, and it didn't look good. It took me a lot. I've still not recovered now, years later, for eating and how it affects your flavour, your mouth, everything is severe. But if I hadn't shrunk the tumour, they wouldn't have been able to do the surgery. So.
Yeah.
And then we went for the spinal surgery, and the surgeons up in Oxford wanted to prove they're the best at what they do, and they rebuilt it with metal work and whatever they do. And I suppose it's weird because you go to sleep for when I say operation, it wasn't like one day, it was like 3 or 4 days of 12-hour surgeries. It was mammoth. It was beamed across the world. The surgeon wanted to prove this is groundbreaking surgery, and he performed miracles. But I woke up and all you see is the lights of the ceiling. And then obviously I was led there for quite a few weeks, not being able to move, seriously ill, trying to recover. And then eventually they want to get you out of bed and wash you, and you got to go past the fear factor of severe pain and agony and standing up. But they did stand me up, and the sac in my spine split, so it felt like I was drowning from the inside out. So I screamed obviously and knew I wasn't right, and they rushed me straight back in surgery and sewed it up. And then I had another few weeks to recover from that. But eventually things started moving, my foot, my hands, and then before you know it, I'm in a wheelchair. But they didn't give me much hope of walking, but I didn't give up, and I've spent a lot of time in the hospice with the physio there, and after 6 months I was hobbling around with crutches rather than using the wheelchair.
Because you told me when you went back to see the surgeon who'd done
spine and your pelvis.
Yeah, expecting to see Karen push me in, slumped in a wheelchair,
Yeah.
and I hobbled in the crutches, and his face was just a picture of pure delight.
Yeah.
And you know, he's a will
Incredible, basically. Yeah.
blew him away.
Yeah.
Which was, you know, respect to him because of what he'd done, and
Yeah.
like he said, I took the risk to jump through hoops, and I was the lucky one. Not everyone's that lucky, but
Because you told me that he's only done that operation twice before.
Yeah.
And neither have
it wasn't a good outcome. No.
So it must have been terrifying going into that situation. But
I'm pretty laid back, and I've always said when I was younger, I jumped out of planes, done silly things on motorbikes. I've never had no fear. I've never been scared of nothing. Whether that, you know, that's not a manly thing. That's just how I am. I take everything laid back and full on.
Yeah.
It's amazing what they do. The NHS are phenomenal. I don't know why they get so much bad press, because what they've done for me is nothing short of a miracle.
So it's been 5 years.
5 years now.
Treatment and, you know, chemo, radiotherapy, operations. How many operations have you had?
At least 6, and I've had half my lung removed because I had a tumour in there, and I got pneumonia straight afterwards, and they told Karen to come in and thought that was it. But just as I even on a breathing machine, I kept telling them, I don't not resuscitate me, I will get through this. And luckily for me, I did, because if I hadn't have been able to say that, then the outcome might have been very different. But there is always a risk with lung surgery that you get pneumonia afterwards and you're in a world of trouble then, because obviously they've just cut your lung open or cut it in half or whatever they've removed. Yeah, wow. I do seem to have the gift of the gods for fighting, but that's my belief. I don't know the meaning of the word no or give up.
And treatment now, you on any treatment at the moment?
Antibiotics for an infection in my foot, my cancers in my livers, kidney, lungs, pelvis, front end, prostrate. I'm riddled in it. There's nothing left they can do. So now it's just a case of quality of life and making the most of what time I got left.
Yeah. So you're under hospice care, aren't you?
Yeah, under the Dorothy House Hospice, which are truly fantastic. They can't do enough for you, or whatever you need, they will make happen.
No charity funded.
Foundation. Yeah, they get 20% off the NHS. The rest is all charity funded, and it costs millions, doesn't it? I've been raising. My mum died of cancer 17 years ago, and I've been raising and donating ever since then. Obviously, little did I know, 15 years later, I'd need the same service myself. So yeah, in that respect, I can't do enough. Kieran shaved all his hair off a couple of years back and raised £600 for the hospice. I was really proud of him. Great thing to do. And they help the kids as well, because the kids know what coming, and you know, at 13 and 11, it's not easy knowing you're going to lose your dad.
Yeah, so they're getting
help from Salisbury Hospice, because they live in a different district. But yeah, the hospice won't do enough to help and try and make the best of a bad situation.
So you're in there 1 day a week or something at the moment, or?
No, they sort of leave me to it at the minute. I'm obviously at the end of a phone call, because you know at the moment I'm quite active, and it's really important while I've still got my mobility and to do things I want to do to get on and do it, because that could stop any moment, any time. That doesn't mean to say though I'm a walking danger area. That's not quite the case. I will get warning signs, but it's not going to last forever.
As you can tell, everyone, we're actually on the bank at the moment. Russell's asked me to come join him on the bank of Islands Fishery, so that's where we are.
Yeah,
and
loving life.
One of Russell's biggest passions in life, apart from his family, is fishing, and it's one of the things that's really keeping you going, isn't it?
It's something I've always driven to get back to. I've been carp fishing since I was 8 years old, and it's not a hobby; it's an obsession to me. It has been for the past 40 years, and the whole time I was laid up, I knew I would get back to doing what I loved. And if you haven't got focus or drive, then you're going to struggle. I see the world through different eyes now, and just always loved the outdoors. I've always been an outdoor person.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably fair to say for a lot of carp anglers, you know, it is an obsession.
Yeah.
But yeah, in your particular case, it really is, isn't it? You've been doing it since you were a kid. And I think you mentioned to me like the fact you was wheelchair bound and they wasn't expecting you to ever walk again. And I think one of the motivations was because you wanted to go fishing.
Yeah, and I started fishing the piers first. Karen used to take me down Bournemouth for a pool and sit there with a rod wedged in my wheelchair, and people used to help and think it was amazing. I said, well, it's still fishing, but
Yeah.
that was the start of it. That was what
Well, it's fishing full
I
stop.
had to get a rod in my
Yeah.
hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bit of line in the water. Yeah.
And see what I could catch.
So yeah, it's really good. And like you say, you've been fishing a long time, and I know you don't want to talk about some of the venues you fished and some of the fish you caught. So but fair to say you fished
some good waters and had some good fish, and I've done the publicity thing, and I've been very lucky, and I just love catching fish. So times have very much changed, but I was very lucky enough to have some of the heyday of fishing in the late 80s and fish some of the good lakes down south, and we just had a riot basically.
Yeah, because you grew up in the Salisbury sort of area, so a lot of the southern waters you fished, haven't you?
Yeah.
You may not have seen Russell's face on social media or anything. He likes to keep a low profile, let's say.
Yeah, until now.
Till now. Because you want to tell everyone what you're going through, yeah?
Yeah.
And hopefully the idea of the video is to try and inspire people in the same situation or in similar situations. There's not going to be many people in the same situation as you.
I hope not.
No.
No, there wouldn't be.
A lot of people going through similar things. And but yeah, it's the fact that you're not one who's going to sit there and lay down and
no, the total opposite.
Yeah, you want to get out and do stuff. Spend time with your family, go fishing. I know you're even talking about getting a tent and maybe going camping with the family at some point. So
doing something different and just trying to enjoy every moment.
Yeah,
and not stopping until I have to stop, and I will have to stop. That's why it's easy to drive on now, because I know what's coming.
Yeah.
And the only one who knows what's coming, even the medical experts can't pinpoint a time, but your own body. So at the moment I'm all right, which is brilliant, and that's why I'm making the most of it now.
Yeah, because Russell's got here this morning. Karen's dropped him off. I've not helped at all. I'm in the swim next door, and Russell's just got himself sorted, set up, so he's fully mobile in a way.
Yeah.
I mean, you're hobbling around, aren't you, with your bad leg there, and but it's not stopping you.
No, nothing ever. Well, and I've been fishing in a wheelchair as well, to be fair, but that can be quite restrictive, and you need someone with you all the time.
Yeah, and in fact, even just last week, you was here, weren't you?
Yeah, for 48 hours on my own. Yep.
Couple of mid-20s, and one of the big boys.
And one a surprise fish at the end. Yeah. My first Islands 30.
Excellent.
And I got a real history with this lake. I've known Tony Campbell for a long time, and we fished it right at the very start. So to come back now, as it's mature and 15 years later with the nice chunk of big fish in here, has been a privilege.
You've seen with videos before. It's a lovely lake. It's all been dug out specifically to give each sort of swim its own area that can't be obstructed by anybody else, and it's looking particularly gorgeous at the moment. Lots of greenery.
It's been a long winter, so to see greenery is a blessing. Spring's so far behind at the moment compared to years gone by.
Okay, let's get back to the fishing, Russell. Any venues that you've not fished that you would have liked to have fished or possibly hoped to fish at some point?
I'm not a great lover of day tickets, because I've been spoilt to have quite a lot of seldom time to myself, and even obviously now with my condition, people and crowds are an absolute no-no. I don't know if there's any. I'd have loved to have fished some of the pits in Kent and Essex in the 80s when I was down on Broadlands or New Forest Water Park or a few other venues around the south, and they're all well known.
And he's awake. You in?
Nope.
No.
Oh.
Okay guys, so it's just getting dark now. Well, so getting dark, a little while off, but getting darker, and just sitting in Russell's swim. It's been a quiet day, isn't it?
Very quiet.
I mean, the fish have been active. They're sort of showing signs of pre-spawning. The tench have been spawning. But yeah, it's not masses of it. It's just the odd splash going on here and there. So we're hoping that the carp have got their pre-spawning heads on and hopefully get a munch on. But they've definitely been active. Been swimming around, haven't they?
Yep, seen a few
Getting lots
swim
of
through.
liners. I've lost that fish earlier when it came through the channel into Russell's swim. So yeah, a bit gutted about that now. It's one of those ones, isn't it? Sort of early days it happens, and then you think you're going to get more, but it's been very quiet apart from that.
It's going to make us wait.
Yeah. But anyway, it's a lovely evening. The wind's died down a bit, and yeah, it's nice and calm. Still some fizzing going on, and the odd head coming out here and there. But yeah, so it's just a waiting game that we're playing. But this is a good time in it, on any lake. You just half expect the bobbing to start going and the line tightening across the lake. Oh, it's been nice today. It's not been super hot though, is it?
No, although my blood thinners, so I have to keep myself wrapped up anyway.
Yeah, but yeah, lovely evening. So it's nice to be on the bank with great company. Let's see what the night brings. Got to put the camera away now, guys. So obviously, if anything happens, get it out and share with you. Until then, we'll see you in the morning if nothing does happen. But so hopefully we'll see you in darkness. I'll see you in a bit. Okay, guys, I'm coming to the end of my session. Russell's still got another night ahead of him. It's being picked up by Karen tomorrow. I've got to shoot, go and do some work. So unfortunately, that's it from me. And the end of the video, really. But all I've got to say is it's been an absolute pleasure, Russell, meeting you and spending time on the bank.
It's been fantastic, thank you, Steve.
Unfortunately, no fish to show you. It's been a bit against this. I haven't done a lot of filming. It started raining in the night, some pretty heavy rain, then drizzle, and then this morning it really came down. So we've had to sort of hunker down in our separate bivvies and not spent much time together, hence not much filming. Yeah, so not much vlogging going on, and not much of a social, unfortunately.
No.
Because Russell's got to be very cautious of getting close to people because he can't afford to get any sort of viruses or anything, especially with COVID around. So it's not like I jump in the bivvy with him. We've got a nice bit of space, fresh air. So, but yeah, so we couldn't go in the same bivvy and do any filming. So unfortunately, that's the way it is, guys. But as you know from the lack of footage, we haven't caught anything. And I think one of the reasons is the fish, or a few of the fish, are starting to show signs of spawning. We're not feeling hopeful anyway, are we?
No.
I think tonight it could be a case of
enjoy the camping and the fresh air.
Yeah, but so you're just waiting for your taxi tomorrow, and that'll be the end of your session. But for now, guys, like I say, absolute inspiration, and I feel very privileged to have met you and been fishing on the bank with you.
Thank you.
And hopefully you guys have enjoyed the video. It's a bit different to what you normally expect from me. There's been hardly any fishing, but it's not been about the fishing. It's all been about this guy, and we wanted to tell you what he's been through and hopefully inspire others in the same boat. You know, if it was me, I'd probably be content just watching the videos on YouTube of the carp fishing, and you know, I'm probably watching countdown from the armchair. But not you. You've fought it, got out of the bloody wheelchairs.
Yeah.
And there you are doing it.
How can you not enjoy this? We've been camping, fishing's been a nightmare. We've loved every second, and that's what it's about.
Yeah, it's spending time on the bank and doing what you love doing.
Yeah. And
whatever that is, I mean, as you guys watching this video, where we all love carp fishing, but hopefully you inspire others, you know, the people out there that, you know, just like going to football matches and feel like they can't do that. But obviously you proved that you can spend 48 hours on the bank. I'm sure, you know, people in a similar condition spend a few hours at a football match, you know. It's like,
it's a lot easier not to do it.
Yeah.
But when you have done it, it's so much more enjoyable, and time's super precious.
Well, there you go, guys. and this guy knows. So thanks for watching, and we will get together and finish off this
Fishing.
and try and get a fish for the cameras. But in the meantime, I'll show you the fish that Russell had last week from the swim opposite, basically, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So I'll show you those. Absolute stunner, the 30. So, well done on those.
Yeah, well chuffed with that.
And hopefully next time we'll get another one out. So it'll be a few weeks before we get together. But something to watch out for, guys. And hopefully you've enjoyed Russell's presence as much as I have. Anyway, till then, take care and be lucky.